Hi friends, welcome to HR Resonance channel. Ram Navratna here. Thank you very much for viewing my various videos and also commenting on the topic. Recently, I had an occasion to make a presentation on various labor code in one of the seminar. And at the end of the seminar, believe me, there were a lot of good questions and very interesting. And question answer session went very well. I thought some of these question answers I should bring to the notice of all the needy and interested. That is why in this presentation I am making these question and answer, and I want to call this presentation as labor codes, doubts and clarification. The question was asked, dear sir, these codes from when applicable mandatorily? Well friends, the answer is, as per so far discussions, these codes were supposed to be implemented and effected from 1st April 2021. But other than 5 states, other states lagged behind in framing the rules. As such, government has taken some time. In some forum, it is said probably from 2nd May 2021 they may come. However, 1 month here and there, I think they are going to be effected, but that is sure. That is the answer for that. Another interesting question asked was, what are the components set in CTC structure mandatorily? How much percentage for each component? This is based on the code on wage question came. But one thing friends, you have to remember here, as far as the cow is concerned, the basic wage it is stated should be 50%, whereas other components that can be any percentage, however it should not exceed more than the 50% of basic wages. That is all mentioned. Under these circumstances, any other components, what is the percentage, how much percentage cannot be said and concluded. However, for all this purpose, our income tax guidelines like HRA, conveyance, that will be all available. Perhaps those may be the guidelines. Next interesting question asked was on, what are the categorization of employees? Very good question. And here, my dear friends, in the labor codes and rules, one has to see the various notifications and description where it is mentioned, skilled occupations are mentioned. So in that, even in the central rules, schedule E, okay, various categorization have been made. Under that, if you see, for unskilled category, 123 grades are there, semi-skilled 127, skilled 320, highly skilled 111, designations or occupations, they are all given. These can be seen, and based on whatever is applicable, wherever your categorization is going to be fixed, based on this skilled occupation, one has to take and follow, and accordingly they can fit. I think that will be the answer. Next interesting question was on fixed term employment. What are the conditions? How we can take workers under this code, and this worker eligible for gratuity, and minimum how many years worked for gratuity? This was the question. Of course friends, all of you know the answer, but what I want to answer here is, the FTE is feasible only in cases where the job for which is workman is taken gets completed within a period of say a year, 2 or 3 or 4, whatever that may be there. In other words, what I would like to answer here is, on perennial nature of work and on work of permanent nature, fixed term employment is not permissible. Many of the people are understanding, in one of the company they asked me, can we convert all these contract labors to FTE? No, that will be not there. That becomes unfair practice. Please understand, fixed term is based on project based or time based, any technology based for that particular year, but not in perennial nature of the job. I think this point everybody should keep in mind. And now as far as the gratuity is concerned, on perennial gratuity is concerned, appointment of based on the appointment of written terms, and on completion of these years eligible for the gratuity. There, this 5 years clause and all that is all not applicable, but there should be a written terms of contract and conditions, that is very important. Then another interesting question was, what are the registers to maintain under the code? Of course, well friends, now as far as the central is concerned, they have already notified the rules. And as far as the government of Karnataka is concerned, they have notified code on wages rules. I'll reply in the perspective of government of Karnataka code of rules. Form number 1, that is for the register of wages, overtime, fine, deduction for damage and loss has to be maintained. And form number 4, that is employee register, that is another register one has to maintain under the rule 30. And form number 5 is the wage slip, that is to be issued irrespective of all cadres. In addition to that, in occupational safety code health, register of workmen or employees is mandatory. Of course, muster roll cum wage register, preferably on electronically or physically, is required. Register of accident, register of leave with wages, register of overtime has to be maintained. And under the security code, register of women employees, I think this is first time that we are seeing with reference to the Maternity Benefit Act, that is a register of women employees we see. Then also under this, unified annual return is also there. However friends, now all these rules of either central or whatever the states they have come out, yet they have not all completed. Still they are in various stages. Some are not very clear, some are in a hurry-burry they have done. We have to wait for that. But basically these are all various registers, forms, notice, they have to be maintained. But one thing you remember, they are all in a very short way, and there are no any multiplication of these things. That is the whole idea of labor codes. Next question is, any employee's grievances, who is conciliation officer? Very good question. Again friends, in industrial relations code, there is a specification of grievance redressal committee under bipartite forums. Of course, as you are all aware, under this new code, the role and scope of GRC is widened. Of course, there what is the period, what is the representation, how he can make, all that very elaborately, that is all mentioned. But one thing, there is about 30 days time, grievance has to be resolved and decision has to be declared as far as the grievance resolving point of the employee is concerned. But in case of employee is not satisfied, or if he feels his grievance is not resolved, then the concerned employee, okay, he has to go to the respective jurisdictional conciliation officer. He can make an application either through his trade union or directly. Therefore, the answer is concerned area wise officer is the conciliation officer. That is what is the answer. Well friends, regarding this grievance redressal committee, what are all its details, what are all the process, you can view my same HR Resonance channel, wherein I have brought out a detailed video on this. I think that is all very useful. Without forgetting, please go through and view that. Another person asked different questions. Difference between Current Factories Act and Social Security Code, he asked. Well friends, please understand, difference as such, there is nothing as such, but what you have to understand is various labor laws, that to particularly 29 labor laws, they have been subsumed in 4 labor codes. This Factories Act has been brought under the Occupational Safety Code, that is one of the act which has been narrated there. So there is no any difference, almost same provisions have been brought with some 1 or 2 additional points and widening the scope of that. Next question was, employer have to opt current labor law or labor codes in their industry like new GST and old GST. I think it is a good question, but one thing you understand, there is no old and new law as such is not there. Already all these labor codes have been passed, gazetted. Only thing we are awaiting for the effective date. There is no old and new as such. But however, whenever from old to new it take place, there they have given the time of about 120 days. Form 1 has to be filed by the employer, okay, with all current license number, etc., etc. Then that migration takes place. Then all that new thing will be there. Otherwise, there is no old and new as such. Once the date is notified, everybody has to follow. Another question was the current labor code to whom more benefits, whether employer or labor. Normally, everywhere it is asked. One thing, my dear friends, you have to understand, all these labor laws are meant for everybody. Balance is going to be maintained. Equilibrium will be there. Employees may say they are good for the employer. Employer may say they are good for the employees. But however, it is the duty of the legislators. They are trying to maintain equilibrium. Both way, good are there, bad are there. But however, balance has to be maintained. However, friends, to know what are all the benefits available under the new codes for the employees, again in the same HR Resonance channel there is a special and almost about 20 minutes video is there elaborating various benefits. I think without forgetting, you can click on that video and go through. I am sure definitely you will enjoy. Then another question asked was, what are the acts covered under the current labor code? Well, this is a question, I think a very genuine question, but one thing, I mean, maybe the question who is asked is, I think, very junior, or he may be not knowing very much about the labor laws. But one thing, friends, all these 4 law codes, they contain 29 subsumed laws. Okay, so out of 44 central laws, 29 have been subsumed. So therefore, those laws now I am not going to tell you here, but in IR code 4 laws are there, in other code 12 to 13, and in other thing around 9 to 8 are covered. So that is how that is all you have to take into the consideration and see those are all the acts. When the state government implement the labor codes in Karnataka? This is the one question. In fact, other day I was asking some government officer, senior head of the department of one of the department of government of Karnataka in labor sector. He was telling, of course, government of Karnataka is very keen. Of course, Karnataka is the first state which has brought code on wages rules already done, and other rules are almost they are through. Shortly we are going to release those one, and once that is there, it is all going to be implemented. Therefore, we have to wait for short time, but however, it will not take years together. That much I can say, and that will all happen. Well, friends, these are all some of the very genuine, some they look very easy and very small question, but I thought no, lot of meaning is involved. Since I was I was in the seminar and I was a speaker, I answered these questions. Then I thought, why should not disseminate this information to all the needy and for my valuable viewers and subscribers. I hope, friends, these doubts and clarifications are definitely useful. Again, in future, I am doing and conducting various these seminars and webinars. I am doing whatever questions I come across, definitely I will share with you, and let us try to enrich and enlarge all our knowledge. Well, friends, if you are liking and if you feel these are all useful, please share with others, like it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much, friends. Wait for our other various innumerable videos on very topic. Thank you. All the best. Good day.